Hey guys, so I just wanted to make a video for you instead of doing a Zoom call because the quality is really bad on it. And yeah, so I just wanted to check in and make this video for anyone who needs help on the topics that I posted and to just get you guys excited about it, or if you're unsure why you're here, to just maybe give you some ideas to connect with why you would want to help people and be an active coach and get involved in everything that it is that we do as coaches. So I hope you're excited because I am. We have a lot of new things coming up that are super exciting and a lot of really great chances for you to kickstart your business or to recommit or to redesign yourself and how you run your business, really. So I'll go ahead and get into it. There was a couple of things that I decided that I wanted to talk about. So one of the things, and I got most of this from when I was listening to the National Wake Up Call on Monday by Lindsay Stay, I believe her name is. So anyway, I was listening to her call, and if you haven't listened to it, definitely check out the playback. You can access it through like the podcast app on iTunes, or call the playback number. The information for that is in the cover photo on our team page, Team Hear Me Roar. So just click on it, and that caption will give you the phone number. But hang on. So a lot of the times, like, you might not be super energized to work your business or not really feel motivated to do it. And the thing about coaching is that it's really easy not to do it. You know, it's really easy not to like send out those couple of messages. It's really easy to not post on social media, and it can feel like your time is better used doing other things. But it's also really easy to do those things, and you can make it fun and a part of your day and not like this huge, big, scary things. So the most important thing about coaching is really being consistent in those little things. And so when I get people who are like talking about like not knowing if it's for them or not knowing if they want to like commit to it or that they're feeling overwhelmed, like I get that feeling because I feel that way all of the time. And the way that I combat that is there's a couple of things. One of the things is I always like take a step back, and I always plug into like personal development or listen to the National Wake Up Call, even if I don't feel like listening to it, even if I'm not in like Beachbody coach mode, because I always get something from it that inspires me to want to do more for myself in my life and to grow. And one of the reasons that I've been a coach for 3 years and have not quit and have worked my business for the last 3 years is because one thing I've realized is that when I don't feel like working it, when I don't feel like doing the things that that we get to do as coaches, I know that something's wrong. You know, if I don't feel inspired and I don't feel happy enough to share positivity, or if I don't feel like talking to people or like build relationships, and something's going on with me, and that means that I'm not in like the best place. It doesn't mean like something's wrong or that I'm in an awful place necessarily, but I always take that as a sign as that I'm not growing, that I'm not inspired in my life. And because when I am inspired in my life, I always want to work my business. So one thing that I always tell myself when I don't feel like it, or I'm like questioning what it is that I'm doing, or, you know, why do I want to work hard and get into Success Club every single month? Like, why is that important? Like, I always think about my future self. So this one is huge. This is my number one why that I think everyone can adopt into their own why. And I think about it, and I always ask myself, you know, where am I at in my life right now? And how would I feel if I stayed in this place for the next 3 years or even the next year? Do I want to be doing the same things? Do I want to be making the same amount of money? And it's okay to want to make more money, you guys. It's okay to want to buy a nicer car. It's okay to want to have more cash flow, to do whatever it is you want, you know, whether you want to be able to afford going to massages or like maybe you want to just buy gifts for your challengers that are committing to these programs. Like, it's okay to want those things. We're made to have abundant lives. And so I asked myself, would I be okay staying where I'm at right now and making the same amount of money, living in the same type of a place, driving the same car, having the same types of people in my life? Would I be okay with that if I was in the same place? And my answer is always no, I wouldn't be. And that's good. So a lot of the times, like, success and making a ton of money and earning free trips and earning the incentives that I post about for hitting Emerald, that motivates some people, but some people, that doesn't get you to learn. That doesn't push you to, like, okay, I need to figure this out. What will push you, no matter what, every single time, is pain. Pain of knowing you don't want to be where you're at right now will be like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can send out like 4 invites right now to my Beachbody Challenge group. I can do that. And it seems, it makes it seem less overwhelming when you look at it that way, because as humans, we're so much more likely to work towards something if there's like a like pain involved. We're more likely to move rather than just like thinking about the pleasure part of it. Because there's a lot of things that are more pleasurable than saying, like, sitting on your phone for 15 minutes and sending out invites. Like, you might rather watch a movie or go out to eat or whatever it is that you have planned. So, but when I think about, like, where I want to be, I'm always the kind of person that, like, doesn't want to stay stuck, because I know what it feels like to stay stuck for over a year and feel trapped in your situation and just like there's no way out unless you like go to school and like get a degree, or maybe you already have your degree but you just want something more. And maybe you want more friends in your circle that are inspiring to you. And I have a lot of those people in my life and a lot of those women in my life, but I never stop wanting more of them, like I never, like there's so many people out there that I know that I can learn from and that will bring out the best in me. And the only way I'm going to find those people and get a chance to be in their circle or have conversations with those types of people is if I'm growing. And so that's all coaching is it makes you stretch. It makes you get outside your comfort zone sometimes. So think about that. And I wanted to kind of like demystify Success Club for those of you that are new, because when I first heard Success Club, I thought it was like this really special club that only the successful people were in. And like, I knew I was supposed to be in it, but at first I was like, great, well, I'm just like not going to focus on it too much. I don't want to like put too much pressure on myself because I just started this thing. But I probably won't get in it, even if I, do help people and run a challenge group or whatever. And then I started hitting it, and like, forget about the name Success Club. It's really just like basic club. It's not anything special. It's really easy. So yeah, don't make it sound like it's too hard or not achievable. It's like the very foundation of being a coach, of just getting your Shakeology covered for. And I find that so you have to think about long term, you guys, not just quick term, not just like you want your summer body, not just you want to, fit back into your pre-pregnancy jeans. Like, you got to think long term. And long term Alexis is like, I'm not going to want to feel like I'm on a diet for 2 years. I'm not going to want to, or, I know that I'm not going to be motivated for 2 years. Like, why do you think I've been doing home workout programs one after another for 3 years in a row? It's not because I just was like motivated to do it and I love working out so much. That's not why. It's because every time I stopped feeling like taking care of myself, I did something else. And that was exactly what we do as coaches. I started helping other people and reach out to them, because there's something really magical that happens when you extend yourself to a stranger, or extend yourself to, it doesn't even have to be like one-on-one invites. You know, posting something really uncomfortable that maybe you struggled with on your social media. That's powerful. And a lot of people don't have that voice. And we as coaches get that opportunity to share our voices and connect with that and stop carrying that shit around with us. And that's what I love about it. So for example, you know, I have multiple stories. You know, I don't just have one story to share. There's multiple parts in my journey that I can pull from and talk about on social media. And you don't have to share it all at once. You know, you don't have to share about how you were, you know, like for me, like how you went through drug addiction and how you had eating disorders and how you were had, you know, unstable toxic relationships, and then this happened and then that. Like, just pick a tiny part of it, and it doesn't even have to be that bad. And share about it. Like, for example, there was at one point where I was really struggling with food addiction. And as a coach, that was a really scary place for me to talk about and to touch on. And I felt like a fraud because I thought that I was supposed to be the one that like knew everything and was like the example. But I want you all to remember who we are. We are ourselves. We have to own our struggles. We're not professional personal trainers or nutrition experts or even like challenge group experts. We're just regular people that want to change. We want something more in our life, whether it's just a feeling or whether it's a complete lifestyle change. You're different. You're rare. You're the kind of person that wants to grow a little bit. And it's almost like going back to school. You know, you want that. Like when I'm in school, when I was going to school my whole life, I loved it so much because no matter what else was going on in my life, I knew I was like nurturing myself. And as a coach, that's what you're doing. You're nurturing yourself, and people will connect with that. So coach is such an odd term, but if you just think about it as, you know, you're just a transparent person who has passion about something or is on a path of self-discovery. And if you start sharing that and sharing what you want to learn about yourself, what you're trying to learn about yourself, and not just touching the surface level. So I want to get into real quick, this segment's going to be about a little bit about social media and your story. So it's really important and it's really liberating, and something that I think everyone should get a taste of, regardless of what your goals are, is sharing your story and leading parts of your story or like personal experiences, or even with your like talking about your fears or whatever, leading with that instead of just transformations, instead of like just you know, weight loss, or just, you know, your energy levels are back or your confidence is up or whatever. Like, don't be afraid to get raw and get vulnerable. Like, because I have done that for so many years, and I can get better at it. You know, I get complacent too, but because I've done that for so many years, like, I'll give you an example. This woman emailed me, last week, and she told me that she really wanted me to be her coach because she's really struggling with binging, and she had lost a lot of weight, and now she's like regaining some of it, but she wanted me to be her coach because I don't know where she found me. It definitely wasn't Facebook, because I haven't talked about like binge eating in a really long time. So, and I don't think it was on Instagram, so it was probably on like YouTube or like my blog that I don't use that often. But at some point in my coaching journey, I decided to come clean about that stuff and not make it such a secret, and share that I was struggling with it too. And so I don't know if you guys have ever gotten this feeling when you're on social media and you're scrolling and you stop and you read something and a woman shares how she, like, sometimes, you know, she shares something that's like not surface level, like something that's scroll stopping. Like I remember this one woman saying, I spend a lot of my time wishing that I could be a different woman, or wishing I could look like other women. And I just stopped, because this lady has an amazing physique. And as soon as she said that, I was like, it brought up the power of Me Too. It's called Me Too. And I was like, dang, like me too, you know? And so if I wasn't a coach and, you know, she kept sharing stuff like that and started like commenting and liking my stuff and being really friendly and open with me, and she had a bunch of like things that I could be like, oh my God, like that's me, you know? Like I felt that way before. And she was and then she invited me to like one of her groups. I would definitely be interested in, because my like the emotion part of my brain is already like connected to her, and we're drawn to people like that. You know, we're emotional creatures. You know, we don't buy things because they are guaranteed, you know, weight loss results. We buy things because someone has our story. So if you aren't sharing your story, you're never going to attract those people. And if you're not going out there and hunting for people who that you can start conversations with about anything, then you're not going to give those people a chance to maybe step into a new lifestyle. Like you never know the kind of potential that people have, or what their possibilities are, you know. And you can recruit them as a coach once they go through a challenge group, and your life can completely change because they inspire you, and all of a sudden you're remotivated in your business, not because of your personal goals, but at some point in your journey, you get to a point where it's not just about you anymore. And the only way you stay motivated to stick around is you start pouring into other people that you can tell have potential, and you start kind of showing them the ropes, and you start realizing that it's not about you, it's about what they're going through right now, and how you can make them have the best experience ever, and just be there for them by continuing to do your personal growth and continuing to show up to your workouts, because the workouts are such a fundamental part of all of this, because when we change our physiology and we change how we move our body, it changes our mind, and it changes how we act and how we feel. And a lot of the times it gives us the confidence in ourselves to explore the things that we don't want to look at, or it gives us the confidence to pick up a book on something that we know we want to work on with ourselves. And that's why I love coaching. That's why I love it so much, because it's about life. You know, it's not a job. It's not a job. You don't go in and do the thing and, you know, look forward to your day off. Like, you might have a job right now and it might be hard to want to coach, but you have to remember that if you do just the littlest things, whether you know for sure if you want this or not, you have no idea how much it'll pay off if you do just the little things, you know, just the personal development, just sharing a little bit of your experience, a little bit of your story, a little bit of your transformation. You never know who's watching, and you never know whose life you can change. And once you get that feeling, I was thinking about the other day, about my mom, actually. And I think about my mom a lot, because I always, like, I think about who I am and who she is, and I compare myself and to like see how we're different as people. And I used to have this really big fear for a really long time that I was going to end up like my mom, and she wasn't someone that I aspired to be like overall. Like, there's definitely little things like that I love about her, that qualities that I do want to have and that I do embody and whatever. And so I was like thinking about it, you know, I was like, blah, 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 you know, like comparing it. And because that's what we do, you know, maybe we think about like how much our parents made growing up, like annually. And that can kind of be like, you know, once you surpass that could be success to you. Because, you know, you've gone farther. You're giving back what they gave to you, which was the gift of life, to do more with yourself. And we all we all owe it to our families to do more with our life. You're obligated. We have a responsibility to not settle for making $50,000 a year, to not settle at making $200,000 a year, whatever it is that you're at. Like, we all have a responsibility to just do more for them. And, you know, it's not just for us. And, yeah, So I was thinking about that, and I don't know why I was thinking about this thing in particular, but I was just wondering, like, you know, like, I was thinking about the people that I've helped and what it feels like to help people. And I was thinking, like, I don't think my mom has, and this could be anyone, you know, but I was like, I don't think my mom has ever really helped someone change something in their life, you know, or help, you know, like, for example, it could be anything, like help them with their confidence, or help them with their skin regimen, or help them just have a conversation with them about depression or whatever. And so this, like, I'm just comparing like a non-coach to a coach, like how it's different, and it's not that much different, but how cool it is if you want to be that person in the world. And I'm not saying this in like a cocky way, or like I'm better than anyone, or I'm better than her because I do this, but so I think about why I'm so happy most of the time. And I know it has a lot to do with because I've helped people, and I'm not, you know, I still struggle like hardcore on things, but because I chose to rise above that and give, even when I was like, a lot of the times in the beginning, you guys, I was giving advice that was what I needed to hear. And if I didn't feel like helping someone, or if I didn't know how to help someone, I went out and figured it out. And what happened in that process is I figured out what I needed. And they say if you want to learn something, you teach it to someone else first. And so that's what I started doing. And I think people would be a lot happier if they knew what it felt like for just one person to message you saying that you really helped them with anything, you know, like, you really helped me realize that it's okay to accept this about myself. And I was talking to my boyfriend about this the other day, but I was just thinking about all the different things that I've been through, like depression and anxiety and substance abuse and, you know, all of those different things, and eating disorders. And while I was going through those things, I had to stop identifying with them so much because I was letting them define me. And and it was causing me to feel paralyzed, like I couldn't be anything and I couldn't do anything. So in order to get through that and heal, I had to stop identifying with them so much. And then once I healed for them, I went through this phase, and you can use this for anything in your life. And then when I healed from them, I went through this phase where I had a lot of fear around them because I was afraid of them. I was afraid that they would return. And then some of them have shown up in little ways, and they have returned. And now I look at that list of like what describes me as far as like my battles, and I look at them, and it's the weirdest thing, but I love all of those things. And I'm so thankful for each one of those things. And I'm grateful. And I can't not identify with those things, because that would be denying that they happened. It would be denying who I am, because that is all of me. Like, all of those things are me. And I don't let them define me, but I find power in identifying with them now, because they changed my life so much better because I chose to let them help me grow. And I always, when I was in it, I didn't know how long I was going to be in it for. I didn't know if it was going to be years until I figured out how to stop binge eating and self-sabotaging myself and slacking off in my business, and knowing that I didn't want to work at a call center anymore, but I just couldn't get the weight off, and I couldn't figure out how to pull my head out of my ass and be consistent. But I told myself during that time that it's not going to be like this forever, Alexis. It's not always going to be like this. It will be different. And by saying that to myself and adopting that mantra and telling myself that every day, things started to happen that I can't explain. And I started to find the power to complete a program and find the power to control my diet in a way where I wasn't restricting myself too much or feeling like I was going to mess up or even feeling guilty when I did mess up. And, you know, all of a sudden I look back a year later and I'm like, and I realized that I got through all of that stuff. And so, yeah. So your struggle is your message, and you have to figure out how to turn it into a message. And even if you're in it right now, whatever it is, you know, negativity, whatever, own it in a way that you know you are only responsible for yourself and not the people around you and not what's going on around you, but you can change it. Even if you can't change those things physically, you can change. And you might think, well, I don't need to change, but we all have room to grow, and we all have so much capacity to learn more and to grow, that when you start doing that and you start seeing other people, strangers, your family, your coworkers, your spouse, your kids, you know, if you start seeing other people how you want them to be, or you just focus on what's really good with them, like what's right about them, like what they do right, your life will change. Your life will change. People around you will start changing, and it'll seem like a fucking miracle. And all of a sudden people will start treating you differently, because when you see someone how you want them to be, or how you know that they maybe used to be, things will change. Things will change. And so I always try to talk to people like they might be the most important person that I ever talked to in my life. And that makes people feel good. That makes people want to talk to me. And you know, I'm not all out there to get money and to just like be all wrapped up in like success for myself. Like, to me, the way I define success is if I can make someone feel that way, you know, and taking the challenge pack and taking the money objection off the table. So if I ever get money objections or crickets, I go back to what's called BFF mode. And I'll straight up tell someone, like, you know, you don't have to buy anything, like, forget about that, like, you don't have to buy anything, but I want to help you still. Or I want to see how I can, like, support you or be there for you. And talk to them, you know, like, keep asking more questions. And this is one thing that I'm really good at, because, I need to open the window. Because I've practiced a lot. And I was a new coach before, and I wasn't afraid to ask questions if I didn't know them, and I wasn't afraid to look stupid and be like, what should I say to this person? And then I started getting the same answers enough time from Amy and from other people in Team Set Your Soul on Fire that I was like, okay, I understand now. So, and I even see all the time, even with like veteran coaches, still struggle on like what to say to people. And don't focus so much on what to say. Like, it's not all about responding to what you hear. It's listening. So if you don't know what to say, the reason you don't know what to say to them is because you haven't asked them enough questions. So ask them another question. Because when you know someone, like, think about when you know a friend, you understand like where they're at. You understand like maybe they get paid next Friday because you know where they work, or you know things about them, like maybe they're already a runner, or maybe you know what their schedule's like, or you know their kids' names. Like, you should know all of these things about the people that you're talking to, because it'll make it a lot easier to give them what they need and not just push your agenda on them. So I'm going to wrap it up, but just keep it really simple. When I was a new coach, I went through the Coach Basic training, got to Emerald within the first 30 days, earned my free ticket to Las Vegas. That's where Summit was. So if you haven't put your mindset on going to Summit, you need to, because it'll change your life. And you might think I'm kidding about this, but this is me like telling you something with me not wanting anything from you, but to share with you what my experience on doing this is. Like, I get nothing out of you going to Summit. I don't make any money off you going to Summit. I don't make any money off of telling you to get there and to invest in yourself. Like, I was told that the biggest investment that you can get with the most return is in yourself. And that's why, well, you know, when you could get like a lot of money from a college degree, that was like, it's the same thing, you know, like, it's a big investment, but the payout is worth it. And going to Summit is the same exact thing. Like, these are just people that you want to be around, and trust me, It's not hard to make happen. You know, I've gone with like $0 in my bank account and showed up and didn't get paid until Thursday, like when I was there, you know? So like people make it work. It's not difficult. These types of trips you start planning out a year in advance, and I will talk about Summit every single week on these team calls just so you know how important it is. But yeah, it's super doable, and you start planning these types of trips out a year in advance. I don't know if I said that already, but yeah, just make it a non-negotiable, and just tell yourself that you're going to save everything that you earn from Beachbody. Like, what if you did this? Okay, just like scenario example. Like, what if you decided that you were going to help 3 people every single month for the next 12 months, just 3 people each month. And in order to do that, all you had to do was send out 3 invites, listen to national wake-up calls, show up for team calls, whether it's listening to the recording, if you can't make the live one. And yeah, that's it. That's all you have to do. And recognizing people on social media, like not just making it all about you, like sharing other people's progress photos, or talking about business success stories, like sharing about the business so you can start getting people curious about what it is you do. This is a gift that we get to give people who want it, but they're not going to want to sign up, and they're not going to want to be a coach if they don't know what the hell it is. So you have to talk about it every single day, and that's in a way where it's not salesy, it's very tactful, it's very graceful. You literally just share about why you're a coach, what it was like before you were a coach, and how you feel now because of it. And that could be in so many different ways. I personally am like super creative type, like I'm like 73% creative brain. So like, and I love writing. And so I literally, whenever like I'm talking to people, I'm like, that could be a post. Or when someone's like sharing an experience with me, I'm like, that could be an amazing post. So look for those really good posts of like weaving in like what you're doing into it, because it doesn't have to be like, don't lead with the product. It doesn't have to be all about superfoods and how they changed your life, even though you should talk about that sometimes too. If you don't have your story or your realness, you're just gonna wash away with all the other coaches. And the market is not oversaturated with Beachbody coaches. We are very small in numbers. The percentage of coaches that are actually going for it and actually want to make a difference is very slim. So your competition is very, very small, and you're not competing. We're all doing it together. You know, we have to remember that there's a mission here. There's a lot of people that are depressed, that are over medicated, that are overweight, that are miserable, that have no idea where to start, because this diet industry has been shoving bullshit down their throats for decades, and it's $1 billion industry. So you're gonna have to realize it's gonna be brutal. People aren't gonna respond to you right away because they're gonna think it's a gimmick, and you're not here to fight them, and you're not here to play Captain Beachbody. You're here to share authentically and why it's worked for you, and that's all you can do is share your experience with it, because that's all you have, right? I totally digress there. So yeah, so think about like, what if you made a plan to just do the minimum and save everything that you earn from coaching to first cover your cost of Shakeology. That's only $100. And so, okay, think about making $100 per month. That's, you know, like $25, right? $25 a week. So do you think you can make $25 a week? That's what I want to challenge you to do, to start there. Start there, bare minimum. Be like, okay, so I don't understand how all of this works, but I'm going to focus on making $25 a week. I'm going to get my Shakeology covered, and I'm going to help 3 people. And you're going to do that by sending out 3 invites on Facebook or Instagram or in real life. I'll make a video about how I do in real life contacts. Super easy. My favorite way to work the business, because it doesn't feel like I'm working and I'm just out living my life. But I'm really good at getting people's Facebooks, really good at picking up girls' phone numbers, which is like, would be really helpful if I was lesbian, because I'm really good at it now. But yeah, so don't tell yourself that you don't want this yet. Don't tell yourself that because you've been a coach for X amount of time. I'm trying to talk to everyone on the team. Don't tell yourself because you've been a coach for X amount of time that you can't start over, because you don't know what your future self is going to need. You don't know where you're going to be. You don't know what you're going to need. So think about this as a really small investment in yourself that you can enjoy doing. And if you're not enjoying it, you're doing it absolutely wrong. You can grow and you can have a lot of affluence in your life. And I mean that in so many different areas. Pull from people that you want to be alike, and don't do it, everyone is where they're supposed to be for a reason. And if you're stuck in the same place over and over again, it's because you haven't learned what you're supposed to learn yet. And accept that and be grateful for that. Be grateful that you're not super successful yet, because you have an amazing journey that's so much better than the end result. It's so much better than just all of the money or all of the, whether it's the weight loss or whatever. The experience of getting yourself back to the best you and the best version of you is so much more. It's that, and I know it's so cliche, but it really is about the journey. And you get to take people on that with you where you're at now. So yeah, don't try to think that you know what your future self wants, because I guarantee you don't. And I guarantee your future self wants a lot more than how you've been working towards it or for it or whatever you've been adding for your future. So we've been programmed to not work for our future selves. And I'm here to tell you that as a coach, you get to reprogram yourself. You get to reprogram yourself to be a different kind of person in society, and it's a fucking blast. And it's really cool because everything will start to change. So don't, like I was saying, don't try to assume that you know what your future self wants, because I know for a fact that they want a lot more for you than you may even know right now. And they need that from you. So always be thinking about your future self. And and if you're not practicing it, you're not going to realize, I think everyone can do it. If you're a coach now, everyone can do this. But at times, you're going to not know if it's for you. You're not going to know if you feel like doing it or if it's enjoyable. But that's how everything is in life. Whether you're in school or whether you're doing a workout program, a lot of times you think, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this much cardio. I want to switch, blah, blah, blah. But that consistency is key. So I would just not think and realize that success is built on not your feelings. It's about doing things because you're committed to your future self. That's it. So forget about how you feel sometimes and think about what you can share about how you're feeling. Let that out on social media about how you're feeling. Don't let that get all toxic and dark around your business or whether or not you should be doing this. Because I can do that every day. It's like every day I have to turn it over and realize this is for my future self. If I'm not feeling in it, it's because I need to be showing up more for myself. There's something I need to be learning. I'm not growing fast enough. And I don't feel bad about that stuff. I don't sit in guilt. So do it for your future selves and do the 4 vital behaviors every single day. Personal development, inviting 3 people. There's resources. You are all knowledgeable, capable, and there's greatness within every single one of you. We're all adults here. None of us are stupid. We all can find the answers. There's this beautiful thing called Google that exists. There's this beautiful thing called YouTube that exists, and you can watch a quick YouTube video. Don't live on there, because action is better than imperfect action or imperfect inaction. I said that all wrong. Imperfect action is better than perfect inaction, which doesn't make sense exactly, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's better to act and practice and figure it out, and then just pull from Google or YouTube, or just keep asking questions and you'll figure out how to do it all. Yeah, so that's all. I hope you enjoyed tonight's call. I can't believe this was 40 minutes, but love you guys. Last day of the month to hit Success Club. You have till 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to lock it in. Don't save anyone for next month. Everything you do over the next couple of days is going to set you up for how your month is in September. So remember, small little things every single day. Don't make it this huge hard thing. Pick a power hour, break it up into the day, get it done, and a year from now, your life could be completely different.